BB3.
Hello.
I slept for crap last night.
We are back. Yeah. You're
Yeah,
not
we're
the only,
back, front, side, and side.
you're not the only one that slept like crap last night.
Yeah,
You're
it's.
lucky. I laid down about an hour ago when we got home, or actually
I didn't get a chance to lay
it
down
was
for any kind of
3:30
nap.
when we got back here, and I was gonna lay down for a little while. I did, and I almost didn't want to get up because I
Yeah,
didn't sleep for shit last night.
I
My
can see that.
feet were cramping so bad, I was up most of the night trying to deal with it. Oh,
Yeah, I can see that.
oh, and then not to mention, the frustration I'm having with my arm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we went to Joanne Fabrics, looking for blanks, the blank wood,
Hmm.
blank, whatever to metal, different things that I could, experiment with that. Because I said I wanted to make a round to it, right?
So you can get around to it.
But they had, that entire store was picked over. And they're going out of business sale or closing sale or whatever you want to call it. Has only been going on for about a week. And boy, they sure did hit that store. They even got limitations on things you can buy, you know.
Yeah. They got limitations on things you can buy there.
Well, it's like limit 1 yard, stuff that gets sold by the yard,
Yeah.
you know, only 1 yard per person.
That that don't make sense. You need more than 1 yard for to make some stuff.
No shit. But, you know, and they still have, most of that, you consider most of that's fabric, anyways.
Yeah.
They're going to ship that off to another store eventually. You know, not everything they got to pack up in little boxes, but, you know.
Yeah.
Huh. How you doing, Chris? Oh, man, it's been a rough day. But doctor's office was a bitch. Ugh, now I'm getting hot.
Yeah.
Doors shut because I was in here on Lois's podcast earlier just to pop in and say hi, and I'll get to the. Oh, anyway, so I was on there saying hi because they were talking about one of our favorite subjects, right? They were talking about cemeteries
Okay.
and if anybody ever captured anything, or what you think about
We
cemeteries.
got some weird shit on our
If they're
end of
really like,
cemeteries.
they were talking like if cemeteries were really haunted or not, that kind of thing. And so I went up there and then, I told a couple of stories of some of the like, what is that one close by me? Oak Hill, right? No, Eagle.
The Eagle
Eagle Road
Cemetery over
Cemetery.
there. Eagle Road Cemetery.
Right. So I told about, the stuff we had out there, and then you didn't go to Resurrection with us, though, did you? It was just me
No.
and Tanya, because we met up with Dale at Resurrection Cemetery. I tell you, that is a strange place. All right. Now, I didn't see Mary,
Mm-hmm.
because she's the hitchhiker that'll appear to walk in the bar across the street when, that kind of stuff. But I did see, because we drove past there several times, but when we were actually like, because it's not like a quick drive past because the speed limit's not too high, right?
Right.
So we're driving by, and I wish we were stopped or actually out of the car when this was happening, when we actually drove into the cemetery and stuff with Dale.
Yeah.
But the lights in the mausoleum were going nuts, like flipping on and off. You
No,
know,
that can be almost anything.
I don't know. It was one of those things, and no cars were parked around the mausoleum. Nobody was that you could tell was nobody was in there. But it's one of those strange occurrences that people,
Yeah.
experience in that cemetery. Especially late at night. Well, we weren't there late at night. We were like there middle of the afternoon type shit, you know. But still,
Mm,
I still.
I'm not saying that you didn't experience anything. I'm just saying that it could be almost anything.
Oh yeah, it could almost be anything, but that it still leaves more things unexplained for that one. You got some. I still don't know how to explain what happened to us the first night we went to Eagle Road Cemetery, because I have no idea where there's an airport close by.
That was freaky as fuck.
You
Right?
know that
Because
we
that
'cause-
plane was way too big to even be considering trying to land at Juneau Airport because Juneau
right,
Airport is small. It's not even big enough for even a one of the private jets. And that thing was a decent sized passenger jet, and it was flying extremely fucking low.
right, and extremely late at night.
It was
You
like
know,
midnight or something like
because
that.
yeah, it was between 11:30 and midnight ish. Most airports like that we have around here that are fairly big, like Dane County Regional, that airport closed down at midnight. They got no flights coming in usually after midnight unless you
Mm-hmm.
know you know Dane County is like this time of year, for example. You know, uh, Dane County gets declared emergency because Chicago's all snowed in, so they're deferred.
Yeah, they'll catch
Rerouting
traffic.
the
They'll
flights
catch
to
flight
Madison.
traffic up here,
Right,
or if not up here, then they'll send them to Mitchell Airport
right,
out
right.
in Milwaukee.
Which is another big airport around the area. You know, and nope, that still can't be explained.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that airport in Juneau is a little airport. It's not even
No,
capable of hitting those big
it's barely
passenger
big enough.
planes,
It's barely big enough to handle the prop planes.
little crop dusters. But that was no crop duster either.
No, I'm not talking about crop dusters. I'm talking about little prop planes like a Cessna or a Piper Cub.
Yeah, well, that still was no Cessna that night. It was too loud, and we heard it coming from quite a ways off before it went over our heads. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
So I was also doing some research on another topic, and did you know the dire wolf? What was it? I had that. I should have kept that up here. Let me see if I can get that page back that I was looking
I
at.
know you were talking about the dire wolf.
All right. According to this, and it's like Wikipedia and stuff, but some of it can be. They don't have an exact time that it went extinct, right? Usually they say, "Oh, this animal went extinct
Hmm.
10,000 years ago," right? They got a pretty long range of when this canine went extinct. Anywhere from 9,500 years ago to 125,000 years ago. Now that's
Right.
pretty big fucking range, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, you get a something that went extinct, say 10, let's just round to 9,500 up to 10, right?
Yeah.
And here it says, well, this thing went extinct 10,000 years ago, but yet it washed up on Japanese shores, on a beach somewhere, or you know, I don't know how they decide that an animal is extinct. That one baffles me. I don't know what they just don't see it for what 20, 30 years, and oh, it must have went extinct. You know, I don't know how they come up with that,
Uh,
but every research I've done says that the dire wolf, and people will exaggerate this, but all the research I've done, it wasn't just Wikipedia, it was several other pages,
yeah.
uh, was like all saying that the dire wolf was about the size of the biggest gray wolf on record.
Hmm.
Now, gray wolves we have right here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We have a actually pretty good sized population than what because they're off the endangered list now.
Well,
So
that's
that
because the DNR bred them up and actually released them into the wild.
right. It was part of the because they were you know on the endangered list for a while. But here at
Hmm.
the same time, um, the whole thing about that when those dire wolves were around, there
Yeah.
were also gray wolves and two or
Hmm.
three other species of wolves. All right. And that being said, what the hell? They could have interbreeded, because they're both canines. That's how you get a mutt, when it comes to household dogs. You want a mutt? Well, you crossbreed this dog and that dog and this dog and that dog, and now you got yourself a mutt, you know.
Right.
But what's to say? I mean, people are kind of, I don't want to say the word stupid because that's mean, but, people don't think that in the wild, some of those species that are so close to each other would interact and breed. Oh, that don't happen in the wild. Why not?
Yeah, actually, it does.
Well, some people are so
It has
naive in
been
their
seen.
thinking, they don't even think it's possible. So now we got this canine that goes running around everywhere, and I watched this documentary and it was pretty interesting. That's been spotted, here in Mexico, and they've got all kinds of things of what it could be or what it isn't. Well, that what was her name? I can't remember the woman's name. I think she was down in Texas, but they found a dead specimen. She had it taxidermied, right?
Yeah.
They were able to get DNA from it, and it basically looked like they've described it as like a hairless dog or a dog with mange or whatever, right? But it was still an
Right.
ugly looking thing and a scary looking thing. Uh, but they got when from the DNA they got two things that were 100% identifiable, and the third canine wasn't, right?
Yeah.
So they had it as Mexican wolf and coyote, but they couldn't identify what the third, you know, DNA was. Well, that could say that, well, maybe it's so uh, diluted or whatever over generations of being interbred that it ain't going to match with a dire wolf because they don't even have. I don't think they have the dire wolf in that DNA library,
Right.
and that's why they're not getting a hit on that third. And then they said that the most of their dire wolf's bones and remains were found in the La Brea tar pits.
Right.
Okay.
I remember you saying that.
But what's to say some of them didn't survive? I mean, that's like saying, oh no, they went extinct. We know for a fact they did. Well, no, you don't. There's places on this planet that man can explore, both underwater
Yeah. No.
and on land. There's places in some forests you can't even walk through without a machete.
Right. Now you do realize they have found extinct species that they thought were extinct. They found species out there
Well,
that
I
they
know,
had dubbed extinct, and then all of a sudden they're back.
I know. I watched that show, Extinct or Not, and what was that one? It was like a tiger.
The Tasmanian devil,
Yeah, it was no, it was
Tasmanian tiger.
Tasmanian tiger, right?
Yeah, it's the
The
Tasmanian
last
tiger. They
they
said
said
that the last
this
one that
one
they had
died
died in captivity.
in 1930s,
Right. And they have videos, recent ones, within the last 10, 15 years that show what looks to be a Tasmanian tiger.
and they had pictures of one that were even more recent. And the thing is, they went out and the guy's like, pretty sure he spotted one when I was watching the thing. But yeah, they consider these animals extinct, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
100% sure.
No,
You know,
no, you can't really be 100% sure.
and and people that show those like that one video, and I'd blame AI if AI was around back when that video was made on YouTube. But they
Mm-hmm.
showed that video of this black wolf that was larger than anything you'd ever seen, and they say right away that's a dire wolf. Reality, dire wolves were not much bigger than what you know as a gray wolf. They were almost the same size body wise.
Hmm.
So I don't know what to think about that video now after all my research into the dire wolf, but I'd say whatever they caught on cam might have even been a hoax, you know, because people use YouTube to get those subscriptions so that they can get monetized and a lot of money. They think they're going to get rich. We're going to make a 30-minute video and we're going to make this thing look scary and we're going to scare the shit out of the internet and make a lot of money off of it.
Right. That makes
Yeah.
you think.
I really, I don't know. I now think that video I saw way back then was more of a hoax
Yeah,
than
it
anything else.
probably was.
You know, I mean, like our research that we've done in the Bray Road, there's something going on there. It's what do we call it? Oh, it's been dubbed the Skinwalker Ranch of Wisconsin.
Yeah, well,
Not
we'll
by
get
me,
into
but
that. That
you know, but there's a lot going on there. We can both, definitely say with our experience, there's a lot going on there. But whether
Mhm.
it's a wolf man, that's left to be found out later, or a dire wolf, or some somebody just seeing something along the road and blowing it out of proportion. You know, but what's going on that farm on that property, that's a whole nother story. The stuff we've heard and the things we've seen and experienced on that property are a lot more than just a Beast of Bray Road happening. You know, I don't.
right. Well, yeah, I don't know.
But think about it. All right, what's the biggest canine we've got? Is that the Great Pyrenees or one big? Wait, there's one even bigger. But
The biggest canine out there is the Mastiff.
all right, so
Um,
what's to say
and
you don't cross a
and I
Mastiff?
can't remember which one is considered the absolute biggest. I think it's the English Bull Mastiff
All right,
is
I
the
don't know.
largest
I,
one
but
on
what's to
record.
say that thing doesn't crossbreed with, let's say, a wolf or a husky for that matter? Could you
Well,
imagine what that would look like?
do you know the history of the Mastiff? Why it is in existence?
No, I've only seen
Mastiffs
pictures of the
the
dog.
the Mastiff were bred purposely to gain their size and strength for the strict purpose of taking down wolf packs. Two male bull mastiffs are capable, just two of them are capable of taking down an entire wolf pack.
Which is something because those are pack hunters and they work as a pack.
Yep.
So
But
take down a whole wolf pack.
those dogs were specifically bred for that and trained for that. That's why when you see, like, if you see any kind of the time, any like pictures or renderings of them from back in I guess you'd consider it the medieval days or whatever.
Yeah,
When you had the lords that had domain over the lands, and then they had in their lands they had their settlements and their towns, their little
yeah.
villages and stuff. And that was the lord of the areas. responsibility to maintain those wolf packs and stuff. That's why if you see them, they also depict those dogs having those spiked collars. Those collars weren't just to make them look cool. Those collars were designed, made they were made out of leather and designed with metal spikes in them because what does a wolf do when
Oh,
it
it goes
attacks
right
its
for the
prey?
neck.
Exactly. So those collars were designed for these dogs in order to keep the wolf,
Well,
any wolf,
actually,
from biting their neck.
in actuality, most dogs, when they attack another dog, go right for the neck.
Right. So that's what the collars were designed for. So these dogs were bred for their size and muscularity for that purpose. And then those collars were made to put on them in order to keep the wolves from being able to clamp down on the dog's neck.
But that
But
does not
these dogs,
mean.
two of these dogs are capable of taking down an entire wolf pack,
But that doesn't
which
mean.
is it's insane to think about it, but it's
But it doesn't mean that interbreeding one with a wolf is not is still possible.
well, yeah,
You
yeah, it is
know, and if you saw that wolf today, that would be one massive fucking wolf
probably.
if it got the size of the mastiff.
Well, the wolves were pretty good size in the first place.
They're they're actually really, when you think about it, they're not much bigger than a German Shepherd. Full
No,
grown.
no, they are. They're bigger than a German Shepherd.
They get to be, what was it? A normal gray wolf around our area will be somewhere around 150 to 200 pounds. But when you stand one next to like Joy, for example, or another husky, you can see the size difference because the wolf's much bigger. But those,
Yeah,
there's like German shepherds and stuff. You stand them next to them, and they're almost the same size. You know, the dog's still smaller. The German
yeah,
shepherd's still smaller, but they're closer to that German shepherd size, or a larger dog or an extra large dog. They fit into
right.
that category. But people tend, we all know this, people always exaggerate when they're out in the wild. Oh wow, exaggerate that it's much bigger. When reality it's not as big as you think. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't seen a wolf, thank God, in the wild yet. Because once you see one, you're surrounded after that, you know, unless it's a lone wolf. But if that bucker's traveling in a pack and you see one in front of you, and you better watch out, you got 4 or 5 of them behind you, you know. But I haven't seen one in the wild yet. I've seen plenty of coyote, though. I mean, anytime you
Oh,
go out,
there's coyote all over the fucking
well,
place.
yeah, it's like anytime you go out, especially when you like go outside of Madison, any direction,
Mm-hmm.
towards Oregon, towards McFarland, you know, certain times of day, you're going to see them along those very, even in the residential areas, you know. I mean, driving back and forth to McFarland when I was watching my dad's house for him when he went to Vegas that one year and got married. I was still driving cab for Union. So I'd get done like right around bar time ish, and I'd be driving and I come along that one
Yeah,
road just saw it's like that first turn that I take off of 51. When I get into McFarland, I take that one turn to go to my dad's house, and all along that road, there's nothing but cornfield on both sides. But during that time of year, the corn wasn't even, a few inches off the ground at this point. So you could see through the, pretty clearly. I saw, a half a dozen coyotes a night eating whatever roadkill they could find. You know, I mean, there was one time, and I know damn well they probably drug it there because there was deer always. You could see deer getting hit on that road, laying on the on the shoulder of the road all the time, right? They drug it out.
Yeah.
They must have drug it out into the cornfield, and there was at least a half a dozen more just chowing on this fucking deer one night. And this was way before we
Yeah.
started doing this paranormal shit. I mean, otherwise I'd have pictures of it. But you could see, I saw, I saw the coyote almost every day traveling out there to my dad's house, and then in the morning traveling back. I almost hit one day alongside it was like sitting on the road eating something right in the middle of the road, whatever it was is like a dead bird or something. Eating in the middle of the road and it wasn't going to move, and I almost hit it.
No. I don't know.
You know, but I'm not afraid of running into one either.
No.
You know, coyote or wolf. But when it comes to some of that other stuff that's out there, yeah, I'd be a little more paranoid about that because you might be hunted and not even know you're being hunted. You know, but we don't have to worry about that unless you go too far north. But some of those have been spotted down in Milwaukee area. You don't know, oh, it escaped from the zoo. How do you know? Did the zoo actually come out and said it escaped from the zoo? No. They just traveled that far south looking for food, And that was like a panther. Oh, by the way, that don't exist, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's like saying, well, we all know what a panther is. It's
Yeah.
that they got that
I know what a panther is.
over overcompensation of melatonin in their system. So a
Hmm.
creature, an animal will be all black. It's the opposite of albinoism, where they're all white and got pink eyes. But they say that can't happen here. It don't happen.
Yeah. Bullshit.
It can't happen to cougars or mountain lions. Which is the same animal. It just depends on where you are in the world is what the beast is called. But we have those here, the mountain lions and the or the cougars or whatever you want. They're native to Wisconsin. And the thing is, you're telling me one can't be born all black? Hmm.
No. It can.
You
It's like
know,
albinoism. Albinoism is a thing too.
but see, that's what DNR is telling people. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a black cougar or a black mountain lion. It doesn't
No,
exist.
that's bullshit because they do exist.
But they don't think, these people, they gotta, you know, yeah, they do exist because there is one roaming around Wisconsin. People see it all the time. Oh, it's not a house cat. I've lived here all my life, in this house, and I've seen cougars go by all the time, and it was about the size of that, about the size of a cougar, but this son of a bitch was all black.
Yeah.
So then they call it a panther, but that don't exist. Hmm. But it's just one of those things that people are so naive and stupid about. They don't want to think of the possibility that something could exist that, oh, it just doesn't exist in our world. How do you know? You know, anything's possible, especially that. And that's another trip I want to take.
I know you want to go out to Cat Mountain.
Well, that and there's a few places out near Hillsboro that I want to explore that are public areas, like like a public park type thing. That
Okay.
that so-called black cat has been spotted in the area. You know, but if anything else, we get some nice video from those areas because it's really nice out in that part of the country. You should know you drive out there quite a bit, don't you? When you go to
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I drive out in that area. I go up through Menominee and Eau Claire and all that
Yeah,
sometimes.
so there's a lot to see out
I
there.
go. I sometimes I go up through
Wow,
there, and
almost,
sometimes, and a lot of times I come back through there. So
almost.
yeah,
I was almost able to light that lighter with my right hand. Almost, not quite.
you're getting there, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing all the physical therapy and stuff on my own because I thought those fuckers were supposed to show up. Nope, they haven't showed up once, but that wasn't to help me. That was to take down paperwork and ask a bunch of fucking questions. It's like if you're supposed to be at home physical therapy, I thought you'd be here helping me and helping me push through this. Nope, I'm doing it all on my own. But I'm getting better. I mean, it is slowly getting better. It's the motor skills that are driving me nuts now, and I can't pick up my
Mm-hmm.
can of pop when it's full because I might drop it. Well, I did. I did drop that earlier today. After the doctor's office, I was trying to get in. And I take out my can of pop. And thank God there wasn't much in there,
Yeah.
and it dropped on the in the driveway. It's like, well, I'm glad I was carrying that in the right hand, and not my fucking shamrock shake that I get to throw back in my daughter's face later. She took a picture of a shamrock shake. She had the large one, with all the whipped cream,
Mm-hmm.
and she takes a picture and she tags me on Facebook and she says, "Look what I got." And I said, "Where's mine?" She goes, "At McDonald's." You know, smart ass kid. Okay,
Well, of course she's a smart ass kid. She's
so
your kid.
I've got. Yeah, they used to, what
You
they
know,
call
every
it?
one of our children took after us.
Well, Deb did
My
the
daughter,
most.
my daughter's attitude is almost identical to mine. The way I've always,
Well, to
and
rest,
your kids are like you.
well,
You know,
back when you were at transit and I was at working at the cab company, that they used to call Deborah my twin. I think that was Teresta gave her that nickname.
yeah,
And at that time, Deb was like 9 or 10, you know?
yeah,
But she had that attitude, the same smart ass attitude and stuff. And
yeah. Of course, that's what I said.
just like you, that's your twin.
Our kids wound up with the fucking smart assness that we had. That's
But,
how they grew up.
you know, well, you didn't see many people like us. Well, let's see, it was you, me, and my brother. And we'd sit in Union Cab. And what did you say it was? What did you say we were? We'd pick on everybody. Nobody's safe. There
I'm an
was
equal opportunist
opportunity.
picker.
That's right.
I will
Equal.
pick on everybody equally.
So we made that known when we were working there, and even the guy that really didn't
That's
work
what I
for
said.
Union.
I didn't care who you were, what nationality you were, or anything. I'm an equal opportunist picker. I didn't care if you're a man, woman, trans, bi, whatever the fuck. I would pick on you. And it was all in fun. It wasn't
Right,
in
right.
it wasn't
Well,
in
that
in any way to
we picked on
degrade
everybody
or
that
to
worked in Union.
purposely degrade or anything. It was
Well,
you
it
know
was like picking on everybody that worked at Union, and then the one guy that didn't
yeah,
work
I'm
for
gonna pick on
Union,
everybody.
and the one guy that didn't work for Union at all, that was always there. He got picked
Larry
on too. He's Larry's coach.
Larry's coach. Oh, what was his name?
I don't know. All I remember is he was a short guy. You can't remember his name.
Um,
I know the mentally challenged dude that he was
it was
there
his
for.
name was Larry.
His name was Larry, and he
Yeah.
did the custodial work for us.
Oh, we pick on him too, though.
Yeah, I know, but it was.
But we didn't pick on him as bad. You know, we
I
weren't.
think that was the only one we took it easy on.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
his coach, boy, the first time we laid into him, we found out he was just as quick to come back.
Oh yeah,
And I can't remember what his name
Jeff.
was to save my life.
Jeff.
Jeff?
His name was Jeff.
Oh, and he was just, he was a short guy,
Yep.
very short.
He was a short guy. He reminded me of my brother. My brother's short too. My brother's like I don't even think he's maybe 5'1".
I taught my kids. That sounds like something Mark would say.
What's that?
I
People
taught
talking
my
about me
kids.
again?
I taught my kids to be better than me, so they are quicker with the sarcasm.
Yeah,
Sounds like something you'd say
Kayla's
about
close.
Kayla,
Kayla's close to being that.
but Deborah would actually be the better one as far as quicker and stuff. She really took to being a smartass from an early age. But see, I didn't believe in hitting my kids, and I didn't believe in that. What it was
No,
that other thing people did? Oh, one. That's one. That's two.
no,
That's
I didn't
three.
believe. I
Now
didn't
you're
believe
in
in
a
the.
timeout.
I didn't believe in the timeouts, and I didn't like hitting my kid. But I will say this: she grew to respect the fact that she knew Dad wasn't beyond warming her ass up a few degrees to melt the wax in her ears, so she'd listen better.
Well, I didn't have to do that. I, I really never spanked my kids, as we would have called it, because we got spanked growing up if we caused
Oh man,
trouble.
I
And
had to go pick
usually
my
it was
own
with a
switch.
wooden spoon or the a branch from a willow tree outside, or something, you know. But I found out that, man, they when they find out you're pissed off, especially when your daughter's like a daddy's girl, and
Hmm.
and they find out you're pissed off and you're yelling and screaming.
And you're mad because of something they did.
They did, right. And boy, it puts them into tears, and that's
Hmm.
it. There is no, you know, that's more effective than spanking sometimes.
Yeah.
Just raising your voice and getting them to say what you did, like you know better. I taught you better than that, but you're like really yelling at them, and they're like, that puts a fear in
Hmm.
them that brings them to tears 9 times out of 10. And once they realize what they did wrong, they don't do it again.
Pretty much.
So that's why that's one of those reasons why Deborah and Nick grew up so well. I never had to worry about either one of those kids finishing high school. Nope. Didn't have to worry about them graduating. Both kids have held jobs for a long time, and both are married now, doing well for themselves. A lot better than I am, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier and more proud of both of them for doing better than I did. That's all I can ask for, you know. And they still grew up with the morals that I grew up with, you know. Respect your
Yeah, but
elders.
there was some rockiness there. There was a few times there was a little rockiness. You know that.
Well, yeah, but some of that had to do with
People putting fucking shit in their head.
right.
I know.
But they still grew up with that. I mean, any one of those kids, if my mom, when she was alive, needed any one of those kids, if they could drop what they were doing, other than work,
Yep.
they would come to her aid.
Yep. I
Now,
know.
same with Papa Mike and
Yep.
and my dad dropped anything in a heartbeat for him because they respected their elders. Oh, I am dying of thirst today. I finished a whole can while
No, I
we're
thought
sitting.
you were just dying.
I feel like it. I tell you,
Yeah, so do I.
I know how I'm going to die, though. You want me to tell you?
Sure.
Some maniac is going to rob my house and kill me while I'm sleeping. I saw it in a dream. I did
Yeah.
it, and it was pretty realistic.
Is it a maniac that you know?
Nope. It's like it was like
Some random idiot?
some drugged up random idiot looking for a quick buck from a house. And then I woke
Hmm.
up and I was sweaty and shaking and everything. I mean, it
Yeah.
felt real.
That's why you need a pistol.
And it only happened about a week ago when I had that dream.
That's why you need a pistol. You need a gun.
Yeah,
Like my old
I
9
don't think
millimeter I
so.
got.
I don't believe in having guns in my house. I never have. I've
They
never
ain't got
owned,
any kids to hurt themselves, so
I've never owned one, and I don't intend on ever owning one. I should have, however, got the hunting rifles.
yeah, well, sorry to say your brother doesn't know how to use a fucking gun properly unless he's learned over the last
Yep,
couple of
that's
years.
right. That's all we can do.
Because he
Hope
got your dad's hunting rifle, and
you got
I
my
took him
dad's.
hunting.
He's got my dad's hunting rifle. He's got my grandpa's hunting rifle. He's
Right.
got Uncle Alan's hunting rifle, and he's also got my dad's pistol, the
Hmm.
22 caliber pistol that my dad tried to kill himself with. And so I think he's got. I think there's a total of 4 rifles in that 22 pistol,
Well, you know the
and 2 of
lever.
them are my grandpa's.
Yeah, you know the 30-06 lever that he's got, lever action. Remember I took him hunting that time,
Yeah.
and he was loading it, and he wound up firing off around into the ground while he was loading it because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
That's That's because, as far as I know, Dwayne was never hunting until that day you took him, probably.
I don't know, but
See,
I've never had that problem with a fucking gun. I've always been able to do it the
see,
right,
when I went
use the
when I
rifle.
went deer hunting, I went deer hunting 5 years in a row, 4 or 5 years in a row, 4 or 5 years in a row when I was living with my dad. All
Yeah.
right, and my dad before this, my dad used to take Dwayne and I out to a place in Middleton. It was like an old rock quarry.
All right, I got a question for you, quick. Have I froze or anything? Am I still good?
You froze just now.
I just now froze.
Well, you've been freezing, but it's only lasted about 10 seconds or so.
Oh.
but
Okay.
right now it's the so far the longest.
Am I still in freeze?
Yeah, you're still freezing. Yep, now you're unfrozen. So, but there was
Anyway,
this old rock quarry type place out in towards Middleton that my dad used to take us to, and we'd shoot cans. He
yeah,
never brought the rifles, just that that 22 caliber pistol, and I was a good shot with it. And then when we went deer hunting, man, I learned that first year. I learned everything. I mean, I even shot, and my shoulder felt it for like 4 or 5 days after that. I even shot a muzzle loader, and a muzzle loader had one hell of a kickback, and they laughed. They all laughed at me because they all told me it had a kickback. But here I am, just old enough to go deer hunting, and because this was my first year, so it was like their way of like, hey, welcome to deer hunting. I mean, you had my Uncle Alan, a couple. My dad was there with a couple of his buddies, and we were all up on my Uncle Alan's property up in Adams Friendship.
yeah,
You know, and then they told me the story that made them look like a bunch of pansy asses. You know, because deer hunting for some people, especially in Wisconsin, it's all about the beer drinking first.
yeah. Well,
You know,
I'm not from Wisconsin, but deer
well,
hunting for
I'm just
me
just
was
saying,
all about the deer.
So they're waking up late, in the morning. They wake up late because they're hung over from the night before, you know. So by the time
Mhm.
they get up, the sun's already been up for about an hour or so, right? And the next thing you know, they're like, "Where's the coffee? Is somebody going to make us breakfast?" Aunt Sheila was gone.
Right.
And my Aunt Sheila, if you've ever seen her or met her, which you haven't, she's a very well. Hi, Kate. She's kind of like Kate, you know. She's not very
Hi,
big,
Kate.
very thin. She went out and shot two of them and was in the process of dragging them back to the house, the cottage.
Hmm.
And she got one of them drugged back there, and it was a pretty good sized buck. And they're like, "What the?" And it's like, you snooze, you lose. That's what she said too. You snooze, you lose. She not only filled her
Yeah.
tag, she filled one other person's tag because she came back with two deer, and they were both bucks. But the first one she drugged back had to have weighed 3 times as what she. I mean, she. I probably weighed more than my Aunt Sheila. You know,
Damn.
because she doesn't look any different than she did back then than she does now, except for the fact that she's got metal braces on her legs because she has a relapse from the same type of leukemia I had. She was diagnosed a year before I was, you know. And last time I saw her, we were out in Richland Center. That's where she lives. So we were heading out towards that La Crosse area, part of the state. And we took time out to because I contacted her and I'm going to be driving through Richland Center this such and such a date, and she says, well, we're going to meet up at Culver's. And I got a picture of her and I outside the front of Culver's out there in Richland Center. She was the one that was married to my Uncle Alan, you know and we've kept in touch, since.
Yeah.
But they were my favorite aunt and uncle. I mean, who wouldn't want an aunt and uncle that grew up as hippies? I mean, my Uncle Alan and Aunt Willow when you saw pictures of them from the 70s and the early 80s, the first thing that would run through your mind was hippies. You know, the love and peace and all that stuff, you know, because they dressed like that. You know, she had really long blonde hair, kind of like Kate, you know, and,
Mm,
and but she'd like wear the things up here and wear that all that tie dye, you know, type stuff. And yeah, they did smoke the flower too. Me being, you know, I was smart enough at a certain age, I got smart to it and realized what they were doing, but I never said a word. But I'm thinking, these are the
yeah.
coolest, this is the coolest
Keep
thing
talking.
I've got.
I gotta answer. My daughter's calling.
Oh, you gotta.
You're on the air.
Hi, Kayla.
Not expecting you to answer like that. Do you have Netflix?
Nope.
Oh.
And you are on the air. We are broadcasting live right now.
Hi, Kayla.
Well, hello, everybody. I did not realize that. I am so sorry. Oh.
No, I do not have Netflix.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I haven't had Netflix in years.
What you want
because
Netflix for?
I don't know. What do you want Netflix for?
Well, to watch shows, but also I don't have your Disney Plus anymore because it's like when I go on my Roku, it's like, oh, well, you're not in the same household. So, like, I have
What?
to, like, yeah, hold up. I have to send a confirmation to your email account. And, oh
Well,
my gosh, your hands are cold, Lillian.
we'll have to do it later because right now I'm.
I know, you're on the air. I know.
Yep.
I am so sorry. I didn't realize.
Well, you
Hello,
would
everyone.
know it.
We're almost ready.
Oh,
We're
say
almost
hi.
done.
Yeah, we're almost done anyway. So
But yeah, no, and then your Disney Plus, I don't have anymore because it's like, oh well.
that's because I changed things around on it, and
No, it wasn't even that. It was like, oh well, you're not in the same household as the person you're using.
that's
So,
not
I mean,
right either because they're supposed to allow me.
There, I muted him for a minute because we're almost close to being done. But anyway, yeah, it is. I like to keep the nice memories. I don't like remembering any of the bad stuff that happened to me, you know. And one of my favorite memories is always about my Uncle Al and Aunt Sheila because they lived on 40, no, it was 80 acres of land and in a house that he pretty much remodeled and built. And it was such a beautiful place up there. And every time I spent an entire summer up there. And because I don't have I have a high metabolism. My aunt Sheila always thought, well, we got to fatten this boy up while he's up here, you know, put some meat on his bone. So she was always making things, and they had ducks, chickens, and stuff up there, and uh, that was the first time I ever had duck eggs for breakfast, and it was always a great experience up there because it was his closest neighbor was like a half a mile away, and that whole property except for the little bitty cornfield they had and the small garden was all surrounded by woods and trails. So you could explore a lot of acreage just, you know, and it was so quiet. So I spent an entire summer up there, learned how to drive the tractor, cut pulpwood, realized what pulpwood was. Um, and I did a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't have gotten the chance to do while up there. So He built a go-kart for somebody. I muted you, Mark, so if you're still talking or trying to talk.
Yeah, mute me.
Well, you were talking on the phone.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
Anyway, no, you said pulpwood. I said pulpwood's kind of like cottonwood,
well, yeah, but it's used to make paper.
basswood, stuff like that.
We were cutting this down to make.
Reeds.
We went out and we cut down, wood, filled up the trailer, you know, and brought it back and then put it on the pile. And eventually, a semi truck picked it up and he got paid. It went to a paper mill that wasn't too far away from that area. It was up in Adams Friendship.
Adam's friendship. Yeah, well, I got some things to say about Adam's friendship.
Uh, the campground was called Camp Crystal Lake. There was a campground.
Mm.
It'd take me about an hour and a half to walk there. But I would. I'd walk all through the woods, and then I'd end up at a dump site and have to walk through that.
Camp Crystal Lake.
And then that was also like a little bit of a main street area of that little part of the town that my uncle lived on, and Aunt Sheila worked at it's kind of like one of these little country grocery stores that had a bakery and stuff inside of it. She worked at the bakery, baking all the goods.
Yeah.
That would have been if I could ever find that place again, that would be cool. you know. But everything's changed up and around that area since the '70s, the late '70s and early '80s, because that's when I was there. You know, and then we spent we spent that entire summer. We also spent maybe twice a month or more than that. We'd go into the Dells because the Dells wasn't that far away from where we were.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before the Dells.
Yeah, the Dells ain't that far away from Adam's friendship.
Right, and that's before the Dells got taken over by which one is that? Mount Olympus.
Yeah, he's Mount Olympus. The guy who owns Mount Olympus has most of the fucking property up there right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think he even does he even own the Noah's Ark?
I don't know. I don't know. Somebody said that he might, and the Wisconsin Dells. Look it up. It was a big Wisconsin attraction, and now it's turned into uh, what was that? What was that you just said? Because you got me caught on Noah's Ark. Oh,
Water parks.
it's just got turned into one
It's
giant fucking water park owned by the
yeah.
same person now.
That's
But
why I'm
years
wondering if he
ago,
owns Noah's Ark because Mount Olympus is big like Noah's Ark. They got a lot of
right?
water parks and everything.
Well,
And then
there's all water
they also have
hotels,
like a lot of roller coasters there too. And then they got the go kart tracks.
but still, they ruined it. That guy ruined the Dells. He's buying up every small hotel up there,
Mm-hmm.
filling in their pools because a lot of those smaller hotels they had their own pool.
Yeah, I know.
Filling in the pool to make the parking lot bigger. And then basically, if you want to go, you're staying at one of his properties and you want to go swimming, you got to go to you know, the actual Mount Olympus water park. So, I mean, right now, as far as I can tell, um, one of those hotels that were really famous up there, kind of because it was all pink and it was called the Pink Flamingo, is
Mm-hmm.
in the process of being remodeled because he bought that one up too. Because if you go by all these little hotels now, you'll see that this is a Mount Olympus property, Mount Olympus property. You know, they all say that
Yeah.
now. And he's buying up all that property and pretty much destroyed the place. There's no getting it back. But what the Wisconsin Dells was long time ago. It was a great place to go to shop, a great area to go to for shows, to take on all kinds of attractions, and it was amusement parks over amusement parks over you know. You had Riverview Park and Waterworld. You had a shit ton of fucking go kart tracks up there, a lot more than there are now. There was a drive-in up there. You had mini golf. There was just like tons and tons of stuff you could do. But along the way, one one person that came in and he started with his amusement park called Mount Olympus, and I'll probably get shot for this, uh, is buying up all the property up there. There is one property that he won't get, as far as I know, and that's my favorite place to visit. There is one of the very original Indian trading posts. Yeah, and that's the thing. The Wisconsin Dells used to be run by mostly Native Americans, and they had what was that? Ceremonial Rock, Sand Rock, and a couple other places where they do different types of things. Like at Standing Rock, there was a tribe chief with a German Shepherd, and the German Shepherd would jump across the ravine way up high, and it was kind of cool. It was actually part of um, the boat tour, one of the boat tours. Have you ever been on the boat tours up there?
No,
Oh, that's one thing you
I
need to do
have.
before. That's one thing you need to do before they destroy those. Yeah, well, it's all going to hell, Ashley. You know, I think it started going to hell sometime after you were born because we took you up there and there was still, when we took Ashley up there, there was still Riverview Park and Waterworld, and there was still go-kart tracks, and there used to be one massive mall, and now that whole massive mall is just one big place to buy tickets for this or that, or for the upper boat dolls tour, or is it the lower boat dolls tour? Anyway, that
That'd
place
be
is
the upper.
gone. You know, the shopping's gone to hell because the shopping's all the same shop, just stamped out multiple times. You know, the only original,
Hmm.
you know, you know, yeah. Well, you show me where that is. You know, I didn't. I have not seen one the last few times I've been there. But it is time for us to go. We're over the hour limit. Did you realize that?
I know. I was waiting for you.
Have a safe weekend, everybody. And remember, anything's possible.
It's all on you, man.